you a brief introduction. Oh, applause, thank you. I didn't expect that. So that gave you a brief introduction to Tears and Feileacan's duty, as well as the first lost soul that Feileacan and Ku ever encountered, Tsubalin. Tsubalin was a Ned idol who had apparently been murdered in the real world. In her tear, she appears as a monster slayer that the whole town relies on to keep them safe. Those feelings of immense pressure to perform and the toll that it took on her in her mortal life have manifested as her having to fight an undying dragon that she can't defeat in her tear, which is where Feileacan and Ku find her. I'm not going to spoil any more of the story, but if you'd like to see the full thing, you can watch the full 4-chapter prologue up on YouTube. The full thing is just under 20 minutes long and gives a full resolution to Tsubalin's story and the beginning of Metamorphosis Lost. Alternatively, you can also search for the Metamorphosis Lost webtoon to read the full prologue as well as an additional chapter 5 on Webtoon or Tapas. Chris Nguyen, who's previously worked on Cape of Spirits and since also been writing fictional Skin, does a wonderful job on the Metamorphosis Lost webtoon, so I hope you'll enjoy those chapters. As for the web novel, which I've been writing myself, the first arc covers the story of the lost soul Hannah Anderson. Hannah's a 15-year-old girl whose tear resembles colonial America during the Salem witch trials. The novel begins with Hannah rather than the first ever soul because I wanted to surprise readers by starting in a period where Ku has at least gotten used to the basics of lost souls and helping them move on, while still being new for the job and for the most part so that the readers can follow the journey alongside him. At the same time, Hannah kicks off a journey of self-discovery for Ku as he begins to make the lost souls his main priority rather than just something he does because Feileacan demands it. The lost souls aren't all that Metamorphosis Lost is about, of course. Metamorphosis Lost is ultimately a story about life as well as death, the things that keep us tethered to this life and make it worth living. While the main storylines feature those who have already lost their lives, the story also has a large cast of living characters that keep Ku connected to the world of the living. As a primary school teacher, Ku has colleagues and friends that he has to balance his time with, as well as a class full of kids that keep him both entertained and exhausted. The story divides itself in such a way that Ku is constantly torn between two worlds. On the one hand, he has his responsibilities as a teacher and obligations that come along with being a functional adult in society. On the other are Feileacan's duties to the dead, which Ku finds his purpose in. Ku may not be able to do anything for the lost souls now they've passed away, but it still helps him to feel like he's done something good when he's able to help them in their tear. Not to mention that he can use that knowledge that he learns from the tears to offer some level of comfort for the grieving loved ones left behind. Although he doesn't always manage to get it right. And quite often he ends up making things worse and getting in the way of their grief and healing, as we've already seen happen in the 6th chapter of the story. It's one of my greatest pleasures in life to twist the knife for my characters and remind them that they are only human. And a mortal like Ku messing around in the afterlife is bound to fuck up and feel the weight of that plenty of times as the story goes on. So basically, you can expect a whole lot of angst alongside the healing and positive messages on life. As the story goes on, one thing that's going to become a big part of it is the relationship that begins to form between Ku and the entity living inside of him, Feileacan. At first, Feileacan seems cold and silent, choosing to let Ku do as he wishes as long as it doesn't get in the way of his duty to reap the souls that must pass on to the next life. As time goes on and they're forced to work together more and more, we'll begin to learn Feileacan's history, which shaped him into the being that he is in Metamorphosis Lost. That is, of course, a story for another time, since speaking about the themes as much as we have already kind of crosses over into spoiler territory, because I've been slow on writing it. So for now, I'd just like to tease the pair almost as though they're a married couple, with one stoic and tired one, and one who's, honestly, the reason that he is tired. I've basically taken the fanfic trope of there was only one bed and switched it to, and then they shared only one body. So at this point, I think I've given you a pretty good introduction to the world of Metamorphosis Lost. But that, one second, I can't change my music, oh my god. But that isn't quite all that I wanted this panel to be about. Of course, I did want to talk about my story and the world that I'm building, and I could go on for hours talking about individual characters and themes and plot points, as I'm sure any creator can when it comes to their creations. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, though, was the passion that really brought Metamorphosis Lost to life. I've been a fan of VTubers for about as long as they've existed. I've been a VTuber myself in some form or another for about 7 years now. Starting as a PNG tuber and then having a couple different personas before Feileacan. One of the things that I love the most about VTubers and what separates them from other streamers in my mind is the way that they're so detached from reality and in a world of their own. Every VTuber leans into their character and blends it with their real-life personality to differing degrees, but VTubing as a medium allows a creator to dream up a world and lore for themselves in much the same way that role-playing does. What I fell in love with the most in VTubing were those moments where a character would tell a story, whether it is in their intro lore, the MV of an original song, a role-playing audio drama, or even just moments in a stream where the VTuber will connect with their lore and backstory. When I started dreaming of creating a whole novel for a VTuber persona, I wondered what would be the best way to express that story, and what would be the best way to tie in that with live streaming aspects. The way that I came up with that was to act out the novel chapters on a live stream and lay out my stream as if it was a visual novel. So when we do story read-throughs, I try to make it feel as much like one of my gaming streams as possible. I switch the music to suit the atmosphere, I add sound effects where I can, and I've commissioned a ton of artwork for the backgrounds as well as specific scenes which I have appear alongside the screen with the text of the novel as I read it, a lot of which I've been using throughout this panel just to show off a bunch of the beautiful artwork, essentially. I even have little moments like when I transform from Ku to Feileacan or Feileacan to Ku, where I'll use the full transformation animation that I commissioned and live out my Maho shoujo fantasies. This next clip is taken directly from a live stream. Silver of Feileacan. The sky is just beginning to light up blue in the horizon as I find my... As you can see, it doesn't quite run as smoothly as a visual novel since I'm the one having to press all the buttons and make things happen. But it's about as smooth of an immersive experience as I can provide while streaming the story live to people. And those streams tend to be the ones that I live for the most. Not only am I revealing some of my story within the world, but I get to see fans react to it live and give the best performance that I can to voice act each character and part. We've only done 2 of those streams so far, as a bunch of other real-life responsibilities have gotten in the way. But you can trust that I'm crazy excited to share more of the story as I have more free time. So again, if any of this is interest to you at all, please do be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube or follow me anywhere else to stay updated. You can even read the first 6 chapters of the web novel online on my blog at metamorphosislost.blogspot.com. Or if any of that has interested you at all, you can also scan the QR code that I'll leave up on the screen for a bit to take you to the blog and my list of links to other sites that host me like YouTube, Twitch, and Bilibili. Outside of the actual story read-throughs, I try to keep my community following along with the world of Metamorphosis Lost wherever I can as well. The fun part about the story is that Feileacan and Ku get to travel through other worlds when they're visiting Lost Souls Tears, which really gives me an excuse to do any number of side stories whenever I would like to, or make any little event or stream canon to the story. Some of the most fun ways I've played with this idea have been getting the opportunity to appear as a side character in the upcoming visual novel, A Date with Death 2. You're gonna be able to see my boys, Feileacan and Ku. Oh, that one got real excited. Let's go. Yeah, no, I'm so excited to play this game just as a fan myself. I loved A Date with Death 1 so much. Gribby was so cool. And the fact that they gave me the opportunity to put Feileacan and Ku inside there was just mind-blowing to me. And it's been such a fun time being able to write a short story for them that fits into the world of the game, as if they're just visiting a Lost Souls tier in their own world. So it kind of blends reality with like Metamorphosis Lost being able to cross over into other media just very naturally as well. Beyond that, I've actually been lucky enough to travel even into reality, as in cross over into our real 3D world. At a recent event in Hong Kong, we got to set up an escape room for a week, and even have an escape room plot where the community had to solve a tier themselves. In that storyline, they were exploring a tier and trying to solve a mystery involving two brothers who have passed away, and depending on how much they solved, they might get completely different endings. So yeah, it was wonderful to be able to have pew pals actually come in and experience the world of Metamorphosis Lost while trying to solve a mystery. Similarly, last year in Taipei, we had a similar immersive and canon story where the fans and attendants were part of the story trying to help another lost soul passed on. I made a short about the experience, which I'd love to share with you all just to show how immersive we get with these things, because yeah, I'm just honored that we get to do that. I got to be part of a VTuber event where the audience were with me throughout the entire story. Let me explain. Back in November, as part of my birthday celebration, I worked with a company to put on a live event in Taipei. My community showed up, we released our first official merchandise, and it seemed like everyone had an amazing time. But what made this event really special was how interactive it was for the fans. We put on the event like it was a stage performance with a story tied to my lore. So I was visiting Taipei for a mid-autumn field trip with my students, and while there, I had to help a lost soul cross on to the next life. Throughout the story, there were lots of little games that my community had to help me solve. From letting me know that the writing on a clue needed to be mirrored since I didn't know the language, to figuring out from a previous riddle how many times we had to move an origami fortune teller to get the right answer. So does anybody have a suggestion for a lucky number? 69, that's way too many times. If we do it 69 times, the poor pew pal is going to run out of energy by the end of it. Sometimes they were helpful, but other times they would work against me, like when they realized I could be forced to eat bad food as a punishment.
I know which one is telling the truth, but I want you to eat all the air fried takoyakis. So cheese is telling the truth!
But the biggest shock for everyone came at the end when it turned out the lost soul was hidden among the audience the entire time. When the mystery was solved and we were ready to help her cross on, she stood up from the audience, joined me on the stage, and thanked everyone for helping her let go of her pain. After telling Feileacan that he wasn't needed for this one. Oh, pitiful soul, freed from the shackles of this world.
不是你，我是在跟老师讲话。
Very well. Then she left. We all got emotional, and it's become one of the greatest moments in my streaming career. Hopefully I'll get to do something as amazing as that again someday, but that's what I mean when I say... So yeah, I have no idea what kind of opportunities I'm going to get to take part of in the future, but every time I get one, I do my best to tie it into Metamorphosis Lost and keep expanding the story and lore of everything, since that's what makes VTubing the most fun for me. This panel has mainly been a way of showcasing all the hard work I've been putting into building up the story of Metamorphosis Lost and the world around it, as well as how I'm trying to integrate it into my general streaming career and expand it. But as you've seen, so much of it has snowballed into a multimedia project that isn't just the fruits of my own labor, but rather something that my entire community and the people that I work with contribute to. The web novel is something I'm going to continue working on in my own time, but the webtoon, offline events, artwork, and music are all thanks to the amazing team of people that I'm lucky enough to work with, as well as my amazing community who supports me to chase this passion project. The most recent addition to the Metamorphosis Lost universe has been a music video from the singer, songwriter, and all-round amazing VTuber Amelie. We treated the music video again like a side project of the Metamorphosis Lost story. So the MV is set in a tier where Amelie herself is the lost soul, dealing with a giant tree monster that's destroying her once thriving forest home. Feileacan steps in to help her overcome the challenge, and in stereotypical Metamorphosis Lost fashion, they make things a whole lot worse before they get any better. So before we wrap up this panel, I'd like to share that beautiful song as well. I hope you enjoy the original song, Your Symphony, which is a brand new release from Amelie, as well as serving as the opening song for all future Metamorphosis Lost read-through streams.